If day one of the Obama presidency was about changing the way that Washington works, making it more transparent and less run by lobbyists, then day two was about changing the way that Washington works with the world, how we as a nation interact with our friends and with our enemies. I don't know if this is going to end up being the age of diplomacy, because nobody really knows what's going to happen over the course of a president's term. But if we were kicking off an age of diplomacy, this is probably what it would look like. It's sort of the Foreign Service equivalent of a rock concert. The three biggest names in American politics, three proverbial political rock stars appearing together on the main stage at the State Department today. President Obama, Vice President Biden, and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Soft Power Fest 2009. Rock on. This was President Obama's first trip to any of the departments and agencies of the federal government since he was sworn in. Not defense, not Treasury, not Justice. He went first to the Department of State. The implication here is not subtle. The Department of State is where it's at in this new government. Diplomacy is in. Kids, you want to be where the action is? You want to be where the cool kids are? Join the Foreign Service. In the ornately decorated Benjamin Franklin room of the State Department, President Obama announced to the assembled diplomats that he had come bearing an early gift in the form of their new leader, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Just before the president's remarks, that gift had been very well received indeed by the rank and file of the State Department when she arrived there for her first day at work. Check this out. Those are the people that work at the State Department greeting their new boss. You could call that a rock star entrance. It was almost more of a greeted as liberators entrance. Even before the big presidential visit today, Hillary Clinton's stature and influence and her sheer ability to attract attention promise a new level of importance and respect for the State Department almost overnight. Here's some of what she said in her first remarks to her new team at the department.
There are three legs to the stool of American foreign policy: defense, diplomacy, and development. And we are responsible for two of the three legs. And we will make clear as we go forward that diplomacy and development are essential tools in achieving the long-term objectives of the United States.
You know, it's a very important concept, the three elements of American power abroad. I get it. And, you know, I love metaphors. But honestly, it has to be a three-legged stool. After all those hours on the air on inauguration night saying the word balls over and over again, I'm going to call it a three-legged chair just because I'm easily embarrassed. Anyway, so Secretary Clinton's words were echoed today by Vice President Biden. He went even further than the three-legged chair metaphor. He proclaimed that the new administration will rely more on diplomacy and less on military might.
For too long, we put the bulk of the burden, in my view, on our military. That's a view not only shared by me, but by your Secretary of Defense as well. And our military is absolutely, to state the obvious, absolutely necessary, but not sufficient. Not sufficient to secure the interest of this great nation.
The military not sufficient to secure the interest of this great nation. After Vice President Biden, it was President Obama's turn. Part of his purpose at Foggy Bottom. Foggy Bottom. This is not a news cycle for sophomoric people like me who are tired. Yeah. Sorry. The president's purpose today at the State Department was to officially introduce his new presidential envoys, the men who will be his eyes and ears on the ground in the world's biggest trouble spots. Former Senator George Mitchell will be assigned to the Middle East, and former UN Ambassador Richard Holbrooke will be assigned to Afghanistan and Pakistan, both together. Notably, Obama chose not to name an envoy to Iran today, a job that had been expected to go to Ambassador Dennis Ross. The president told NBC's Andrea Mitchell that his policy toward Iran will be announced in due course. This setting aside of Iran, this separating out of America's new policy toward Iran, may or may not indicate that the president sees the issue of Iran as something importantly different from the rest of the Arab world and from the Afghanistan and Pakistan region to its east, which of course Iran is importantly different. Imagine having a president who gets that. These things aren't all the same. This is going to take some getting used to.